Building a gaming PC for the past 2 years has been really hard, mainly due to the crypto mining boom and GPU shortage. But here we are in 2023, wherein you can get a 512 gig of SSD for as little as 1,500 Philippine peso, and you can even get a graphics card now that doesn't cost twice as much. This setup that I am building for today is a little bit different, as I'll be mainly using a lot of not so well-known Chinese branded components so we can save a little bit more without sacrificing too much on the performance. Also, all items that I'll be listing for today are all brand new, and monitor is also not included for today's build. With that out of the way, let us start first with brands that are more well-known. First is our CPU. I went with the Ryzen 5 5500, which is a 6-core 12-thread CPU, which is relatively cheap and perfect for our budget build. But for today's video, I'll be using my Ryzen 5 5600G, which is virtually the same with the 5500, but with just the iGPU included in my CPU. Next would be our PSU. I went with the FSP HyperK 500 watts, as this is already perfect for our low-powered budget build, and some might say that you can get much cheaper PSUs out there, but I would like to counter that argument that paying a little bit more for this PSU would greatly lessen the risk of killing your components or even on a little chance burning down your house. We have our SSD next from Colorful. This brand has been around for quite some time, and for the past few years, they've been making more noises both in the GPU and motherboard space. This 256 gig of PCIe 3 SSD only costed me 900 Philippine peso, and you'll even get better value with the 512 gig one at just 1,500 pesos. Brand-wise, I wouldn't go for other Chinese brands, especially if you'll be entrusting your files with it. After these three brands, we are now venturing to a more uncharted territory. Our case would be from InPlay. Pretty much well known in the Philippines, I'm not too sure internationally, but this brand is well known for chip cases and PSUs. And yep, this micro ATX case with two rainbow fans cost only 800 Philippine peso, which I think is a steal given that this is a compact case with mesh front for better airflow. How I wish though that it comes with rubber feet to better utilize the bottom intakes. Next up is our motherboard. We have the Soyo A520 AM4 motherboard. Soyo has been around for quite some time in the Chinese market, but went under and was bought out by Maxsun. And right now they have multiple components that are literally the same but under a different name. And if ever this board is not available, you can get the Maxsun TZZ A520M instead. This board supports Ryzen 3000 and 5000 CPUs and even has an M.2 slot for just 2,500 Philippine peso. Next for our memory, we have the brand Skihotar. I previously used this brand and so far it hasn't failed me yet, so we'll go with this once again, and given that 16 gigs of dual module for this memory only goes for 2,000 Philippine peso. And finally, we have our video card. So this is the MLLSE or MILSE AMD Radeon RX 6600M. I bought this GPU a few months back, and value-wise, this is still a very capable RDNA 2 card for sub 12,000 Philippine peso. There are also alternative brands, including one from Isurix, and if you like a bit more performance, you can always go for the desktop RX 6600 or even go for the XT version, but then again, you'll be spending a little bit more. Total cost of this build is just shy away from 26,000 Philippine peso, and you'll get it for much cheaper if you'll capitalize those discount vouchers from those online shopping platforms. By the way, I'll list down the links for most of the parts so you can just check those out. And with that out of the way, let us head over to the actual build and some gaming benchmarks. As you can see, you'll have no problems running even modern games on this compact machine. On top of that, you can also utilize FSR2 if you plan to play games on higher resolutions. But at the end of the day, there are still few trade-offs. First, you would be missing out certain features like PBO, PCIe4, and limited power for stronger GPU upgrades. Secondly, since most of these are from unknown brands, build quality could be a hit or miss, and with that, we have our last concern, which would be the warranty. Basically, you'll be lucky if you can get any sort of warranty for most of these parts. But if you're okay with all of these, then this is a really good cost to performance gaming desktop that even outperforms my budget build that I created back in 2021. And that is all for today. Let me know down in the comment section what are your thoughts, or if you have any suggestions or improvement that we can use in the next budget build. Once again, this is Brain of Junkyard Summit. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next video.